All right, welcome everyone to our monthly Black Wall Street Renaissance, where we, as you can see, take the lounge area here at Everlasting Life, and we fill it with small business owners, and we open up the stage to impactful presenters, and we switch the theme up each and every month. So this month's theme is our Mind, Body, and Soul Healing Expo. We have 3 presenters coming on stage, so it'll be a 3-part. So this is how we're going to do this. First part is Nwabueze Okoye. He is a master herbalist, spiritualist. What do you do with a karate? Qigong. As you can see, I'm still learning myself. So he's a wealth of information. He travels the world getting this information to bring it back to us in an all-natural format. So he's going to be sharing with us some of his wisdom today. Part 2, we have Deidre Sorrell here with her lovely son. She is our mental health expert. Another wealth of knowledge and information right here in our community. So she's going to come up part 2 and share with us. And then rounding out the end will be the owner, CEO of this establishment right here, Dr. Baruch. He is our food specialist. So prepare yourselves for a very impactful discussion today. We ask that you hold all your questions. Definitely write them down. Don't forget them, because what we're going to do is we're going to have them come up, and then after all 3 speakers, they're all going to come take the stage for you guys, and you can ask your questions to them then. So we'll have about 25 minutes or so at the end for your question and answer session, okay? So just hold off all your questions while they're presenting. And without further ado, I'm not going to hold us up any longer. I'm going to ask our master Qigong and a whole lot more professor to come to the stage. Please, family, help me in giving him a round of applause.
How are y'all doing? Can you hear me, or do I need this? Yes? You need it? Yeah, I'm just joking.
For the online.
I know you want me to have it. It feels weird to have like this thing so close to me. I haven't smoked a cigarette since like I was 3 years old, I think. That's a true story. In Nigeria, the first and only time I smoked, I saw some older guys smoking in the village, and you know when they flick the butt, and so I like crawled over to the butt because I saw them like blowing smoke out of their mouth. You know, that's cool. I haven't seen anyone do that, so I wanted to blow smoke, but I picked out the wrong end, so I put the burned end to my lip. And that was the first and only time I tried to smoke cigarettes. So welcome, everybody. I just got back from DC, where I did 2 workshops earlier today, so I was racing to get back here. Alkamar mentioned that I'm a holistic healer, right? And what I mean by that is that when we say the word holistic, we're talking some major components, right? And I think this is what's really missing in the Western world, where in the places I traveled in the East and beyond, they still capture that aspect. So when you're dealing with holistic, most people know the main 3, mind, body, and spirit, correct? Yeah. But the last component that's missing is consciousness, right? Because when everything is boiled down to its bare minimum, its essence, what we are is consciousness, right? The unmanifested side of us is consciousness. The manifested side are the rest of the things, spirit, mind, and body, right? So some of us, when we're dealing with disease, even though it shows up in the physical plane, right? Your back might be aching, your knees might be hurting, right? You got something going on with some system, and you're quick to look at the physical, but sometimes it's mental. Sometimes mental can be like your emotions, the way you think, right? Sometimes it's spirit, There's spiritual laws, whether we know them or not. What do they say when you go to court? Ignorance of the law is what? No excuse. And the God runs it the same way. You know? So sometimes some of your illnesses are coming from breaking spiritual laws. And then the grossest sickness there is in man is forgetting who you are, right? Which is directly connected to the creator of all, right? That's the grossest sickness that no herb can cure. Only you can go ahead and fix that within yourself, right? So when I'm saying holistic health, I'm talking about that full spectrum, that full gambit. When I look at you, say you come to my clinic, I have a clinic space in Silver Spring. If anyone's interested, I can give you information before this talk finishes. But I'm measuring, how is this person, okay, this is their condition. What is their condition in relationship to their state of consciousness, their mental, their spiritual, and their physical, right? Because your disease is going to be one component of one of those factors. So physical things we are very familiar with, right? In the Western world, those are things that are like, you know, herbs and pills and foods, right? Those are physical things. They deal with physical issues. But if you have an issue of the body, of the mind, or the spirit, you need vibrational medicine. Does anyone know what I mean by vibrational medicine? Frequency. Someone said frequencies? Correct. Frequencies. Were you going to say something similar? Same, yes. Frequencies, right? So our bodies are composed of these energies, right? So you have a physical body. You're looking at my physical body. Can I take you out of Africa real quick? Yes. Yeah, I know this is Capitol Heights, but can I take you back to Africa? Just put your imagination caps on. In Africa, it's like, if you look at one civilization, say Egypt, what people call Kemet, which was at that time, if we're looking about 3,000 years ago, was the pinnacle culture of civilization. You know what I mean by pinnacle? Nobody was higher. It was looking down on everybody else, right? Our ancestors. And they had a breakdown of the body that differs from today's breakdown. So we see ourselves, okay, we have maybe one body, right? But the ancients, people who built pyramids that cannot be duplicated, people don't know how they did that to this day. Just to let you know, their science and their knowledge is a bit higher than what we have, a bit more sophisticated, correct? Right? So these people determined that we have 7 bodies. How many did I say? 7 bodies, right? And the physical body, which they called the Kab, was the lowest manifestation, the grossest manifestation, the slowest manifestation of the frequency. It moves the slowest, right? Just above the Kab was something they call the Kai bit, which translates in the Western world or as the aura, right? People have heard of the aura, the energy that surrounds your physical body. That aura, or what they call the animal in man, the beast in man, that is where all your physical body is manifested from or created, right? So if you need something physically, you have to go to the energy and cultivate it, right? The most ancient profession is farming. It's agriculture, right? But there's a spiritual side of this agriculture. Yeah, there's a physical agriculture we have to do, there's a physical cultivation we have to do, but there's a spiritual cultivation you have to do. You have to take your own health into your own hands and grow whatever you need. You need to create whatever you need as far as health, right? So that's the science of what yoga used to be, right? Before the Aryan man got a hold of it, right? And before the Aryans came, the blacks of India were doing yoga, and they did it differently than it's practiced today, right? So we're going to get into a little bit of that, that understanding, because I can talk all day, even though I don't have all day, and I haven't eaten since yesterday, so I'm ready to eat. So, but I want to let people know that when we're dealing with healing, we have 2 different minds, and you have to see where you're identifying. Are you identifying with your ancestry, or are you identifying with the Aryan, right? If you're identifying with the Aryan in an African body, you can have issues, you're gonna have some issues, right? Because they love to cut you up, right? If they can't fix you by cutting, they love to burn you up, right? They play with fire. Aryan, Mars, Marshall. This is how Mars is our god of war, right? The Aryan man, the way they deal with medicine is very, very warlike. It's a war on, I gotta fight the cold. Right? It's an attack philosophy, right? It's male principle. They don't have the female principle, which is how the Africans dealt with things. You nurture. If you need something, there's parts in your body that can nurture and create. Let me talk about the body real quick. So the most phenomenal creation of creation is this physical body. It's the most phenomenal thing, right? Nothing is higher. Does anybody here know where, if you needed to create blood cells, brain cells, bone cells, where to put your mind in your body to create those things? Put your hand up if you know where to put that. If you know where to put your mind in the body to create any cell you need in the body. Anybody know? Is in the bone marrow? Not quite, because the bone marrow is through every bone. So if you're placing your mind in the bone marrow, where would you place it? But it was a good guess, and I appreciate it. What was that? Oh, yeah. Limbic system. Okay. So we're talking about the limbic or the lymphatic system. You're talking, or the limbic is the brain.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's not it, but that's a good guess. The gut is where. Hey, if this is Price is Right, she'd get the car. She'd get the car.
Be my friend.
You can ride shotgun with them. So it's in the gut, right? So ancient cultures wouldn't call it the gut. If you look at the Chinese, who have a preeminent knowledge on how to cultivate energy, right? Like that Bruce Lee thing and all that sort of thing. That's martial arts. I mean, these are the guys who I learned from, the guys in the temples, right? When I went to spend months in Asia, searching these guys out and understand what the priests and priestesses are doing to cultivate their bodies. So I've been doing this for about 2 decades. So the place in the human body that's designated to create anything you need is the gut. If everyone takes their fingers, take about 3 fingers like this, and put it underneath your belly button. Where the last finger is lying, that's where you want to put your mind to create anything the body needs, right? You would sit in meditation, just parking your mind in that position. That act alone will create, it doesn't matter what you need. You need brain cells, you need lymphatic fluid, you need bone cells, anything. That's where it's created. Next question, we're talking about the body map. So that's where you go if you need to attract something. But if you need to remove something from the body, where do you go? Brain, someone said? Good idea. That's actually correct. That's actually correct. But before you reach the brain, you can go to the chest. Because the chest is, it's like the negotiation of matter and the opposite of matter, antimatter, right? So if you want to attract matter to you, you want to attract material, meaning practically, I need to pay my rent next month. That's matter, right? That matters. That's Black Lives Matters, right? Y'all need to attract some resources to you. You need to pay your rent. It's here that you're going to focus your intention. And you're going to see yourself paying the rent happily and maybe even splurging on top in your mind. Why? Because that sends a signal to your spirit that you got this. And your spirit's going to go into formation to bring in the resources to make what you're thinking a reality. So in some scriptures where they say to make the word become flesh, that's it, right? You have to make it happen. Actually, you have to actualize it in your body. This is what yoga was meant to be for, right? This is what a science called Qigong is meant. It's been bastardized in the West, and I'm here to make sure that the corrections are given to the people who need it. So if you need to dematerialize anything, so say somebody has a tumor, and they want to get rid of their tumor, right? Say you have a fibroid, a cyst, you want to get rid of your cyst. You have prostate cancer, you want to get rid of the prostate disease. When you enter your meditative stance, you're going to be focusing on the chest and seeing that diminish, right, on a daily basis, consistent basis. Just like you eat every day, physically food, you have to give your energy body energy food. And that's why we do the exercises and the postures. That's why you see the priests and priestesses, like none of them who live in the mountain, none of them who I met had Obamacare, right? Their health is in their own hands, right? Just like us. All of us, our health is in our own hands. Isn't that a blessing? Right? So that essentially means if you're sick or something's going on with you, you have the power to control that, to amend that. But you have to do the work. Right? Remember I said farming is the ancient profession, agriculture, cultivation. Which farmer can just sit on their couch and look at their crops grow without doing anything? Not many, right? That farmer has to do something, has to get up, obtain the seeds, plant the seeds, know the cycles and the times, the right time to plant, the right time to pluck, correct? And we in our body have to do the same thing. The ancients saw, the Egyptians, we'll just stay on Egypt. The Egyptians saw the body, they called it, so they had this term for God, they called it Neter, right? N-E-T-E-R. Well, that's what we guess, but they just wrote an N-T-R, and we plug in the vowels. But basically, conventional wisdom says that the term is Neter, which the Latin natura comes out of, right? So the whole idea of nature comes from this Egyptian concept. The Europeans did not have that concept until they met us. They didn't know about nature, right? They developed that concept after they met with our ancestors, right? All of our ancestors taught them. So Neter, nature, was seen as God. And one aspect, and if you put a U at the end of that, Neteru, that's God's plural, right? So you have the great God who works under, it delegates itself through these lesser gods. And one of the lesser gods is called Geb, G-E-B. And Geb was Lord of the earth, but in the priestly talk, the earth was the physical body. Right. So what I'm trying to share with you, if you follow our ancestral wisdom, that your body is the earth, right? You might have been taught that this globe, this round spherical thing that we're on is earth, which it may be, but more directly, this is your earth right here. And you have to till your earth. You have to protect your earth at all costs. Because if you don't have an earth, where are you going to go? You're going to check out of here, right? So that's why I'm trying to encourage people to really learn to get into the sciences that help you to protect your earth. Because this earth has been polluted, correct? It's not the same as it was back in the days. Back in the days when you were dealing with, say you're like in the Sahara, the most pollution you might get is like some kind of oxens riding by, kicking up some sand in your nose. That was the extent of the pollution for the year, right? Now you have carbon monoxide, you have chemtrails, you have chemicals coming from the ground, chemicals in your water, chemicals everywhere, chemicals in your laundry detergent, in your toothpaste, in your deodorant. You're just polluted, face it, right? So you have to do things to remove the pollution. I brought a product. Michelangelo, can you hold up the salt? Maybe come up here, I'll show it on the camera. So just knowing that people need practical things. So this is a salt product I created where you're taking salt with essential oils that pull toxins out of the body, right? So there's certain essential oils, specifically the floral oils, that extract toxins. So when you take a bath, which is, we don't do that a lot, right? So maybe we go to a spa or something to relax, or you're in the comfort of your honey, you know, you might want to be more inclined to take a bath. And if you don't have a honey, that's too bad. But you can become your own honey. you see? And you take your bath, you put some of this oil in there, you put some of this oil and the salt in, and that will be something that's pulling toxins out of you for the day. So whatever you've accumulated today will be coming out through your pores that are open. It has to be a hot bath, right? And I suggest you soak in it for about 25 minutes to pull. It doesn't just pull toxins out, it pulls radiation, it pulls a lot of things. So if anybody has gone through chemotherapy and they don't want to have the chemo linger in their body, damaging them, damaging their chromosomes, you would use something like this to pull out, right? Can you hand me the other product? So that's something that you have to be mindful, like you have to be very proactive today is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is not the old days when you can just sit back and, thank you, because it's almost like we're under attack. You know, just coming out your house, you're under attack, right? So you have to be very proactive to protect your health, which is your earth, which is your life, right? Another product here, the young lady, she just left, but she made these for me. I asked her to create these. These are, it's crystal bracelet, right? So in Africa, we didn't wear jewelry for decoration. It was functional medicine. It was a purpose. Nobody was trying to bling out. That's a new concept. Everything that they wore, if you look at the pharaohs and the queen mothers, everything was functional, right? This is this is medicine. This is not jewelry. So this has 3 crystals. One is quartz, one is tourmaline, and one is agate. Agate's purpose is to separate the pure energy from the turbid energy. If whatever is pure in you, it reinforces. Whatever is turbid or decayed, rotten, it pulls it out. All right, that's the agate. That's the main stone in this configuration. Then you have quartz. Quartz is a very interesting crystal. Quartz contains information. If you have a cell phone, iPad, computer, it's all being run by silica chips. Quartz is silicon oxide. So silica chips, those little microchips, are quartz crystals. Did you know that? And they're using those because it carries the program of intentions and thoughts and energies. It carries them, right? I was invited to a trip in Arkansas. They did a crystal dig. They went what they call crystal hounding, crystal hunting. And Arkansas is one of the finest places for quartz in this nation. Right? Quartz crystals are abundant in the soils there. But there was places that people could not go. There were quartz mines that nobody could go. You know why? Because the military had cordoned that off. Because that's where they're building, that's the quartz they're using for their telescopes, their drones, and all those high-powered machinery. They want the finest quartz crystals to program their intention in those microchips, right? So I didn't go there. But quartz is quartz nonetheless. So this has quartz to amplify the charge, and it's been programmed to remove toxicity from the system. The last stone that does that is this black stone. If you can see the black stones here. This is black tourmaline. Anyone heard of tourmaline? Yes. So what do you know about tourmaline? She says it blocks negative energies, right? Tourmaline is so powerful. The first time I encountered this stone, I basically bowed down to it in respect. Because when I learned from my teacher about 4 years ago that tourmaline can take out radiation, it takes out toxins. So I was making what we call elixirs. I was taught how to make crystal elixirs, which is basically a fancy word for like water and crystals together, right? And I was drinking my elixir, and he gave me a warning. Drink it for 3 days, relax for 3 days, and come back for 3 days and relax. But after the first 3 days, I was detoxing so well, I felt so good. I was like, oh man, yeah, I just kept on going. Man, and I did that for 18 days straight. On that 18th day, that morning, you know, our morning ritual, you wake up, use the restroom, then you say, mirror, mirror on the wall. And when I looked in the mirror this day, I saw my old cavities I had when I was a 6-year-old youth breaking up. I was like, what? My tooth, and that part was just, it was less. The material was less. But I didn't connect the dust. I kept drinking the water. About 28 days in, on the other side, so that started on this side of the mouth. In the next 7 days, this side of the mouth, the cavities also were being removed. I said, hold up. I called him. I said, this is what's happening. What's happening? He said, you've been using the tourmaline? I said, yes. He said, how have you been using it? I told him. What? You did for how many days in a row? I said, he said, Eze, I told you, 3 days on, 3 days off. So what happens is the tourmaline is so powerful, it pulls anything that doesn't belong organically in your body. That mercury that was in my teeth did not belong in my body. So the tourmaline was just pulling it from my teeth. And that was what was holding up my cavities, so they started breaking down. Right? So this is medicine. You see what I'm saying? It's not bling bling. It looks good. I mean, we try to fashion it in a manner that looks good, but if you're wearing it, now you have something that's actively protecting you from the environmental toxins that are surrounding us on a daily basis, bombarding us. So we have both of these products at the booth I'm in. If you're interested, I have I think we got 8 of those bracelets and 12 of these bath salts. So what I'm trying to describe to you essentially is that we all have a choice to heal, right? We've been given great equipment to heal. If there's a God in the sky, there's no way that the God would abandon you to ill health, right? There's ways, you just have to get with the people who've been studying those ways, who've immersed themselves. We all are healers, right? Everyone here is a healer. Everyone who's hearing the sound of my voice is a healer intrinsically. What separates maybe your person from my person is I maybe spend a little bit more time in the healing craft, developing it, cultivating it. But we all are intrinsic healers. So, it behooves us to then take care of our body the way we can, the way we ought to. I think I'd like to show you an exercise that can help you. So we're in what's very important as far as our people goes is we're a people of rhythm, right? We move rhythmically to the seasons. So even though in the Western calendar it says we're in the summertime, in the Eastern calendars, the energy calendars, because remember I said the energy body precedes the physical body. So if you have something going on in the physical body, most likely you have to look at the energy body, the chi body, right? Anybody ever get acupuncture here? Right? Or Reiki, anything like that? It's the chi body they're working on. They're not working on the physical body, right? They're working on the chi body, and that stuff works, right? I do acupuncture in the ears, but if you come to my clinic, I just take crystals and I bring them near your body, and I can have the same effect as an acupuncture needle, right? In fact, crystals work better with the bones and the skeletal system than needles do, right? Because crystals are the bones of the earth. So they're, by law of signature, they work on your skeletal system. And it's out of your skeletal system that everything is produced, right? But to activate that skeletal system, you focus here, right? You focus there. So you can tell this rate of your bones just by looking at your teeth. If you're losing teeth, you're losing bones, right? The window to the bones are the teeth, right? If your teeth are, it's funny, I had a lady who, she paid a lot of money to this chiropractor. This is just last week. She paid a whole lot of money to a chiropractor to give her x-rays on her spine, and she saw her spine was deviated. It's very bad scoliosis. And she was complaining how much money she spent with this chiropractor, and I told her, you could have just came to a holistic healer, because we could just see, because her teeth, her bones were aligned to the left. That's what the chiropractor showed on the x-ray. But if you looked at her teeth, they were slanted to the left. So you could see from the teeth that her bones were misaligned. So you don't even need those high-powered x-rays. You just have to know how to read the body, right? There's a whole size of the body. There's nothing that can be hidden outside. I can look at all of you and I can pretty much tell many things that's going on with all of you. Even though I don't do that because I was taught that that's infringement, you know. So even though I'm armed with the knowledge, I can look at people's faces and see pretty much what's going on with them, what they're hiding, their personality and so on. Unless we're in a session, unless we're in a healing session, I don't do that. I just talk to you regularly, all right? Because I don't even want to be burdened with all that knowledge. You know, I don't want to be burdened with that. Like, oh, I don't want to shake your hand. No, I'm not going to do that. You know, so I just keep it regular. But so basically, in closing, I was saying the seasons. So in the energetic cycle, we're in the season autumn right now, and in the African, the Indian, and Chinese medical system, the autumn season is for the lungs. Right? A lot of people get respiratory conditions during the autumn because the lungs are most pronounced and most reactive to the environment. The lungs are connected to the large intestine, the colon. So usually if you have respiratory issues, you're going to have digestive issues, excretory issues, right? Or the lungs are connected to the skin. So if you have any skin issues, generally that's a lung condition that's underlying that. Right? So we're talking eczema, dry skin, inflamed skin, you name it, rashes, you name it, doesn't matter. That's lungs. You gotta take care of your lungs. So I think I'm closing. I just want to give people practical things. We're just gonna leave you with an exercise you can do right now, or you can take after this day and do for the whole season of this autumn. It's this month and next month will be the autumn season considered, and it will boost your lungs, strengthen your ability to take oxygen in, which will strengthen your ability to take energy in. So anyone who has chronic fatigue, I saw some people yawning. I'm not saying that's why you have chronic fatigue. When you yawn, it's just a call for more oxygen. It doesn't really mean that you're tired. Your body's just trying to inhale more oxygen, right? But if you have chronic fatigue, any skin conditions, the emotion, we're talking about holistic medicine, the emotion of the lungs is grief, sadness. So you have to think if you have something and somebody takes that thing away, what do you feel? Sad? Avoid, right? All those feelings, if they remain chronic, they drain the energy from your lungs, right? So this exercise will teach you how to combat that drain. So if that situation, that phenomenon comes and takes away that thing, and you don't want your lungs to be compromised, the lungs are also connected to your immune system. Then you can do this exercise to strengthen your immune system, strengthen your respiration capacity, strengthen your ability to remove waste, specifically feces, and so forth. Okay, so let's get into it. So you can stand up. I've been given the message. I got like 2 minutes. So we'll just do it kind of quick. I'm going to put the microphone down quickly. Try to talk loud. So to activate your lungs, you just, one position we can take is you want to expand them, right? You want to expand and contract. So we're going to teach you one with a sound because, you know, we have such angelic voices, most of us. So we're going to calm like this. We're going to breathe in. Turn the palms outwards, and then you're going to breathe out, and you're going to chant. You're going to come around. You want to feel like you're carrying 2 white boulders in your palms. White is the color of the lungs. You're going to chant. So you breathe in, you're bringing the most healthy energy into the lungs as you breathe in here. Breathe in through the nose. And when you chant out, you're letting all the stagnancy go. Some of you might be feeling it already. Let's do a few more. Let's do one more. Very good. If any child or you yourself are victim to common colds, this will zap it. And then when you're done, you just want to kind of align your mind inside. Feel what the energy, feel what the exercise has done to your body, right? if you came to my class earlier, we would be doing exercise like these for about 45 minutes to really get your energy pumping and flowing, right? But I just have to give you a smidget because time was short. So that's an idea of what a holistic format would look like, right? Consciousness, spirit, mind, body, right? And we're doing all that together when we're looking at people in this world. So if you're interested in what I've got, my table's back there. If you want to sign up for a consultation, I'm happy to do that. I have a clinic space in Silver Spring. It's 8555 16th Street, really close to the Metro Silver Spring. But if you want my information, I'll be around for a while. I want to hear the other presenters and see what they got. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Okoye. Thank you so much. Did you guys learn anything? Yes. Yeah, I tell you, he's a wealth, and that's just like a teaspoon of what he has in that brain of his. Really, it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 5 minutes, literally, family. Don't go far. 5-minute break so you can mull around, see what the vendors have to offer for those who just walked in the room recently, and come right on back here, and we're going to get started with part 2 for our mental health. All right, thanks. All right, family, I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to restart part 2. So it's going to be 3 parts to this live stream. So come on back when you see the chime. All right.